You know, it's interesting. Starting a company, running a company, figuring out the maturation of your company. I've long said it's not a sprint. It's also not a marathon. It's a relay race. And you kind of need to know when to hand the baton off. And that's through every facet of the company. It's from, people in leadership, it's investors, it's go to market, and it's so interesting and really, really hard if you've never done it before, right? So first time entrepreneurs are at a significant handicap against people who've done it before. Second and third time entrepreneurs, they have kind of this credibility where investors kind of appreciate what they've done, know their track record. And so it's interesting. That being said, there has never been more opportunity for entrepreneurs and figuring out kind of that relay race to kind of get your company from initial idea to product launch to go to market to start generating revenue to start scaling the company. And right now there's so much opportunities, right? Private equity firms, venture capitalists, a lot of there's so much wealth being created in big tech. There's a lot of people now turning, entrepreneurs turning into investors that want to kind of live vicariously through those investments. So you have a lot of individual investors, you have SPACs, you have IPOs. Like it's very dynamic market right now. And people always say the best time to start companies is in a recession or a downturn. So it's going to be really interesting in the next 12 months how many new companies, new startups we see coming out of this.
So, Bill, tell us about the private equity, route that you guys took. Why that was the right choice, and why companies should consider it who may not be familiar with that option.
Sure. So about 5 years ago, we sold our company to a private equity firm named Vista Equity. And actually, the reason why we sold was kind of twofold. First, at the time, and this was the end of 2015, the private markets, right, led by the private equity firms, were stronger than the public markets. And so by selling to private equity, that came at a premium, or going public would come at a discount. And then the second is, going public or selling to a private equity firm isn't necessarily an exit, right? It's just the next phase of maturation. And so you also have to think about, is your company ready to go public, be a public company, manage public shareholders, quarterly earnings releases, right? It changes how you manage the company. You can't manage the company long term, or thinking a year ahead. It's kind of quarter by quarter because shareholders are looking for results. And so for us, we kind of needed that next phase of maturation before exploring the IPO markets. And so who you partner with really matters. And we felt for a software company, Vista Equity was the best.
So tell us about, how some thoughts about early investment. And I know you're an investor that's wearing your other hat. What do you look for in terms of companies that are promising, and how do companies look for the right investor?
Yeah. Listen, everyone has, their kind of secret sauce on who they invest in, why they invest. I have one criteria, and it's passion. And, either it's a passion-based business, or you meet a founder who's just so incredibly passionate about their idea or their startup that just by looking in their eyes that if this doesn't work out, they're going to be the last ones shutting off the lights, right? And also, when it's something where it's not generating revenue yet, right? A real startup, you're investing in the team more than the idea. You've seen so many really successful companies start with one mission and have to pivot to another. And so, it's really investing in people over the business. And so but what I look for is I look for that fire in the eye. I look for something that's passion based.
So, Bill, what is exciting to you in terms of, our industry that you're investing in, or what you're seeing? And moreover, how do you sort of characterize this moment in time? Is it crazy? Is it overheated? Is there opportunity? How do you see kind of this time that we're going through?
Yeah. So, obviously the public markets be incredibly strong. And so, when you see the difference between kind of Wall Street and Main Street, it seems like the wealth gap is getting worse in our country right now. And that's a shame. Uh, on the other side, you also see that, there are 500 companies in the S&P 500. But there's like five that matter, right? Five of the 500 constitute a majority. So what you've really seen is technology companies have just, really separated from the pack. And, companies in the, retail space, consumer packaged goods, like, if you look at Tesla, Tesla's worth more than the next, four or five auto companies combined. And those companies sell a lot more cars than Tesla does, right? So there's a sense of irrationality around technology. Now, luckily, for us in this space, advertising has become a technology-driven business and a software-driven business. So those companies who have kind of leveraged that technology strength has seen has been awarded for it, right? Trade Desk is trading at unbelievable multiples. Even kind of the next tier of companies, Viant, PubMatic, Magnite, all are seeing pretty good success and pretty good valuations, much stronger in the public markets than the private markets. So similar to what I was talking about before, that pendulum has now shifted back where the public markets are now stronger than the private markets, directly opposite when I sold in 2015.
Emil, finally, you guys have had a big year, the acquisition of 4C and expanding. Just give us a little bit of a roadmap of where we can expect Mediaocean over the next year.
Yeah, so we believe that the industry really, really needs an independent and neutral operating system. There's too much buy-side technology being driven by big tech. Google, Facebook, and Amazon are the world's largest sellers of media. They're now larger than NBC and CBS, the broadcasters, et cetera. They're the world's largest publishers, and they control too much of the buy-side ad tech. And so we've long believed that the entire industry and ecosystem needed an independent operating system, and we're doubling down. So we did the acquisition of 4C. We are actively talking to many companies right now, and we think we can continue to consolidate to have a much more holistic offering across every single media type, every single market around the globe. And so that's an exciting mission. I have the support of kind of my board and the team, and so we're kind of going for it.